All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Okay, good. I can hear myself, so we are live. We have a fun experiment today using our completely average experimental league. It will basically answer a question that kept coming up during our roster creation for various experiments and theme sims, which is if we're gonna take a Barry Bonds for a theme sim, which one do we take? Because there's lots of great options, any one of which would, be potentially one of the all-time great offensive seasons in MLB history. So, um, you know, usually with help from the chat, it's like, do we go OPS? Do we go WAR? Do we go slugging? Do we just go pure productivity with like just sheer numbers of home runs, RBIs, runs, or in his case walks, intentional walks, also crazy high numbers. Um, but then just started thinking like, well, wait, we always test this stuff in the completely average league. Why don't I just test which Barry Bonds in the completely average league? So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I think though to make it, I'm probably gonna do this a few times because there are different ways we can set up the league. We've set it up before. We normally set it up with 4 teams in each sub league, and they don't do any interleague play. So basically, we can have 2 independent experiments going on at the same time. We could do that, and I thought we can have like the early era bonds in one sub league, the late era bonds in the other sub league, and then they play each other in the postseason. But then the early versus late play down becomes very small sample size. So then the other thing we could do is we did this for a recent experiment where we tested the impact of adding one perfect player to each team in a different position. What if we just set up an 8-team league where they just play each other a bunch of times, and then that might be the most fair way. The other way we could do it is set up an 8-team tournament. I'd probably want to set up a best of 13 or whatever it will go up to give us the biggest sample size. Or we can create our own de facto tournament by doing a bunch of 162 game seasons with we would have to manage the tournament off stream or outside of the game, but we could do it. But for now, we're going to start it with a single season, and I think what we'll do is we'll use that 8-team league. So let's switch over to the base game. I have been tracking my performance in the bronze cap. I'm in the semifinal right now with my low diamond Phillips team. It's a best of 5 tournament, so we should figure out if we win it or not before the stream is over. But let's open up the base game. All right, so I think we do have. I sure hope I saved that 8-team league as a quick start. Oh my goodness, I think I didn't. I don't think I did. Okay, let's do that first. I'm a little bummed out that I didn't save that. So we're not going to take over a team. This is specifically just to set up the 8-team version of this league, where it's just all 8 teams in one division. So let's just do that right now. So under league settings, it might be easier to do it here. Where I think, oh yeah, what I did was I moved all these teams into one division. The downside is we lose the All-Star game. Okay, so now they're all in one. The names are kind of meaningless because we changed the names anyway when we do our experiments. And now there's no need for interleague play, I don't believe. Let's check under options. Oh, you know, we could make the playoffs. Oh, best of 9 is as high as it'll go. I thought it would go to best of 13. Let's see. I want to make sure the interleague checkbox may have gone away because we'd only have one league. I just want to make sure if it needs to be checked or unchecked that I do that, but I think we're good. Oh, we also are going to turn off modifiers. Well, let's leave this on for now because this is the quick start. Okay, so now we can save this. This is the 8-team version. Maybe we'll keep the version synchronized. Jay Ducci, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. We're setting up our experiment for today. Appreciate the follow. So 8 teams in one division. Oh, no, wait, we can't save this because we didn't generate the new schedule. You gotta generate the new schedule first. Generate schedule. Okay, now we're set. Now we can save this. Now we can save as a quick start. And this will be average 8 version 3. So we'll keep the version numbers synchronized. Okay. Hey, Different Jason, welcome in. I saw you give me a shout out in Dr. Dynastics chat earlier. I appreciate the support there. Don't get yourself timed out on other people's chats, though, promoting me. But no, Dr. Dynastic is always a huge supporter, so I don't think he would mind at all. But Yeah. Um, in fact, speak of the devil, here he is rating in. Always appreciate the support from Dr. Dynastic. Both speaking very highly of us in his chat all the time and then rating in on Fridays when he has the opportunity. I always appreciate that. Hello, Star. These Friday streams are great because we get a whole different set of participants that we don't always get to see in our late night streams. So, Dr. Dynastic, enjoyed the stream. Thank you for the raid. Uh, appreciate the Steam code I won yesterday for the sports renovation game. Looking forward to finding some time to play that. So what we're doing tonight or today is this question always comes up in my stream when we're doing all-time rosters. And it happens with a few players. It happens, I think, probably the most with Barry Bonds. And that is like, which version of him do we take? And the chat's always involved. They always have really good perspective too. And it usually ends up being a question of like, do we go by WAR? Do we go by OPS? Do we go by sheer productivity, like the most home runs or the most walks or the most RBI? But then I realized the other day, I actually realized this watching Dr. Dynastic's franchise feud, is we have a completely average league that we've set up for experiments. We've always just used the created players for the experiments, though. But I was like, well, we could always just import 8 different Barry Bonds, put one on each team. So now each team is completely identical and completely major league average, except for the Barry Bonds they have. And so we can just like let the Barry Bonds play it out and see what happens. And so instead of like deciding whether we want to go by OPS or WAR, we can just have them play it down, and we'll see which one comes out on top. Now, the version we're going to do tonight is I've collapsed the 8-team experimental league. NC Pirate, thank you for the follow. Now, normally for these experiments, we have 4 in one sub-league, the average league, and 4 in the other sub-league, the neutral league, and there's no interleague play. So we can actually have 2 experiments going on at the same time, which we often do. Like if we're looking at, let's say fielding traits, we'll boost them in one sub-league, we'll nerf them in the other sub-league, and just to see what happens, we get 2 experiments in one sim. But for this, we want these Barry Bonds teams to play against each other. So I've collapsed them all into one division. So they should all play each other the same amount of times, or as close to that as the AI can manage in the scheduling. So I just created this quick start for that, because I think we'll be doing this for other things too. Like it's come up also with like Willie Mays, with Ted Williams. Like, which version of this player do we want to take for whatever sim we're doing? And I think that'll be fun. I also want to do a version with like center fielders. So once we figure out which Willie Mays is our peak Willie Mays, like do a Mays and a Mantle and a Duke Snyder, and we'll go down the list of all-time center fielders and like have them play against each other too. So I think there's a lot of different things we can do here. Most of this came out of this game I'm creating, community game, where it's almost like a perfect draft, where I've got short lists of players, and it's like the best player seasons from the 80s and 90s, and then the 2000s and onwards, and then the 60s and 70s, and so on. And you basically pick 4 or 5 players from each of those groups for your roster, and then we have you compete probably in the 2024 Major League season. But even for that, it's like, okay, well, which Ty Cobb season do we pick? Or which Christy Mathewson season? And so I think we can use this experiment to have some fun, to like play. So in curling, they're called playdowns, where you have a tournament to see who moves on to the next level. So I don't know if there are any curling fans in the chat today, but like in Canada, they'll have their provincial playdowns. And so then each province plays down until they have their champion, and then their champion goes to the national tournament or the Briar. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a play down for we'll have like the Barry Bonds play down, and that Barry Bonds goes into the game that I'm creating. We'll have a Babe Ruth play down, and I think it'll be a fun way to kind of build up the rosters. And then it also puts me out of the position of having to choose, like, which of these players are we going to take. So, but even with 8, we still have to pick the 8. So let's do that. Now, picking 8 is a lot easier than picking 1, because even if you're a little bit wrong, you're probably wrong on numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so, at least you've probably got the right best ones. And so that's really what I'm mostly worried about. It's kind of like the college football playoffs, right? You can't really count on the voters to get to the top 2. Yeah, Star, we'll talk about that. I think we'll put that in the pack giveaway form too. Also, let's do that next. We give away packs every time we do a sim. Basically guessing the outcome of the sim. 7 packs for first place, 3 packs for second place. Usually we go by runs. So if we're testing an offensive attribute, we go by which team scores the most runs. And if it's a defensive attribute, we go by which team allows the fewest runs. So we'll have questions on that. But since we're doing a season format, it feels like we should go by wins. The problem with wins, and this is why we've gone away from wins in our experiments, is it opens it up to a lot more types of RNG and a lot more types of variability than just focusing on runs, especially when we're just importing one player. The impact of RNG is bad enough when we're changing like an offensive attribute for the entire team, right? That's 14 batters getting that attribute change. This is just one batter. So there's all kinds of other stuff that can go wrong. The starting pitching can blow it. The bullpen can blow it. The other players can blow it. The fielders can blow it. Barry Bonds is going to have his own RNG, right? And so I'm still leaning towards runs scored because it at least takes away a few layers of that RNG. But I feel like that makes the simulation a little less compelling because we're not watching runs scored, we're watching the standings. So I definitely don't think we'll go with World Series winner because that adds on like a big chunk of small sample size at the end of a season. So it'll either be regular season win-loss record or it'll be regular season runs scored. If he were a better defensive player, I think we'd go with maybe run differential. And also it's just one player, probably playing left field or DH. So I don't think, even if he were an amazing fielder, he wouldn't have a huge impact on runs against. So I think we base it on runs. So it'll be runs scored or wins, team wins. And when I say starters blow it, bullpen blows it, all the starters are exactly the same in the entire league. All the relievers are entirely the same. I'm talking about like the RNG version, but that's a great question, Star. How are we going to evaluate it? So the way this works is if you haven't done a mass import of players into the base game before, this will be informative for you as well. So here's an example of what a text file that you can use to import a bunch of players into OOTP26 looks like. Right, so this is one we use for Reb Jr., one of our late night community members, played one of our online games called Peak Performers. This is where you pick one of your favorite all-time teams, and you can replace any 5 players with whatever you decide are the peak versions of that player. So he picked a Reds team, I think, and then replaced. He picked a peak Johnny Bench season, a peak Tom Seaver season, and but this is what it looks like. It's their player ID, the year of that player you want, what season version of them you want, and then the destination. Tonight we actually want them to go into the free agency pool, so we're gonna not include the 3 or 4 letter destination abbreviation at the end, so it'll look a little different from this, but you can use any file to create this as long as you can save the output as a TXT or text file, because that's what OOTP is going to be looking for. And the reason I and a lot of people who play OOTP use baseball reference is that if you look up in the URL, the player ID in baseball reference is also the player ID in OOTP. So if you look up here in the URL bar, it says Bonds BA01. That's his player ID in baseball reference and his player ID in OOTP. So the first thing we'll do is, Bonds BA01, comma, and then we just need the year. So since I know that, I can just set this up to take 8 versions of this. All right, so I'll copy and paste that. And then I'll copy and paste that. And then I'll copy and paste that, and we're up to 8. And we just have to fill in the years now. And then our file's ready to save, and then we're ready to import. Okay, so I thought we would take 4 versions of skinny bonds and 4 versions of bigger bonds. And I think with the bigger bonds, it's hard to go wrong with, we'll just take the 4 MVP versions. So 01, 02, 03, 04. The 2 seasons that get referenced the most whenever we do this for a sim are 01 and 04. So I'll be capturing both of those. And if we feel like we got it wrong, we can always go back and run this back. It's not hard. So 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. Oh, you know what? Before we do this, since Star also asked about injuries, why don't I go ahead and put the pack giveaway form up? And then y'all can start guessing while we set this up. And you do not have to be present to win. You can submit a guess, and then if you have to take off, that's fine. But let me find a good one to copy. I'll leave this up here while I do this. It's always easier if I just copy an existing form. All right, this has nothing to do with it, but it at least has most of the... Oh, no, wait. You know what? I think I want to create a roster form. Let's do that. Because we're going to have modifiers off. Oh, the Sid Finch one from April Fool's Day. By the way, I'm not one to promote a lot of my VODs. But if you're interested in the stuff I do, episode 304 from April Fool's Day was a really fun one. If you want to see the kinds of, other than experiments, what we do, let me put the, this is what we did on April Fool's Day. If you're not familiar, back in 1985, the Mets and George Plimpton, the writer, and Sports Illustrated put this fake story in the April Fool's issue about this Mets phenom pitcher named Sid Finch, who had never played organized baseball, but was clocked at 168 miles per hour in the jugs gun because that's the highest it would register. So it might have been even higher. And he had all these, yes, the curious case of Sid Finch, exactly, Flash. And yes, if you weren't born before 85, the article has been reprinted many times. In fact, we were using a 2022 version of the article. So even if you were alive in 85, there are plenty of ways you can access the content. But, and it was like this whole thing where like one of his contract stipulations was he didn't want any media. So they built this enclosure that was closed off by tarps so no one could see him. But then like the Mets catcher would come out and he was like holding his hand, talking about how much it hurt his hand to just catch his pitches. And then some of the Mets, spring training players like I think Len Dykstra was still a prospect at that time, before his first season with the Mets, and like they would like peek behind the tarp and then come back and talk to the media about like how amazing this kid looked. And they had like a fake scouting card even leaked, and we used that fake scouting card to inform what his profile looked like. It got you hook, line, and sinker. That's awesome. So for April Fool's Sim, what we did is I created him as a real player in 1985 and added him to the 85 Mets. So instead of an April Fool's joke, he was a real player. And we simmed it and see what it looked like. I think he struck out 476 batters. So anyway, that's the form I'm going to be copying for today. But if you want to see what we do other than experiments, that's a good one. I would recommend. And again, I don't often promote my own streams, but that was such a fun one. The chat was really active and lively and funny, and we had a really good time with that. And we spent probably as much time like perusing the article and showing the pictures from the article as we did actually doing the sim, because the gag itself, the April Fool's joke itself, was so good. Okay, so I've only changed the title, but I'll put the form up and I'll edit it live, so you'll have a good idea of what the questions are like. And then if you have any questions about the questions, you can ask me before it goes live. So yeah, so this is still Sid Finch text, so in this evening's stream, we will attempt to determine which version of Barry Bonds is best by adding 8 different versions of him to our experimental sandbox, the completely average league. In this league, all players are identical and major league average. So the only difference between the teams will be which version of Barry Bonds they get. Okay. This league is usually split up into 2 sub-leagues, the average league and neutral league, the AL and the NL. But for this sim, all 8 teams will play in one league/division. All right. To allow each Barry to play to his full potential, modifiers will be off. So there will be era-based modifiers to make it feel like 2024, but totals-based modifiers will be turned off. Okay, so this is a standard 2024 season. Okay, so to answer the earlier question, no injuries, no suspensions, no personality, no chemistry, no morale, no development, no trades, and modifiers set to 1, or let me say, and 20 to 24 modifiers locked. And auto calc off. So normalization, I'll say era modifiers only. Okay. All right, so these questions will have to, oh yeah, and we're also using a new tiebreaker format. So once we get to the numerical tiebreakers, it's going to be whoever gets the closest the most number of times. Because the order is kind of arbitrary. And, you know, someone pointed out in PT25 that, like, well, then, you know, maybe we should just do whoever gets the most right. And I think that's absolutely correct. So we've switched. So when we get to the numerical tiebreakers, it's whoever gets the most of them right. Your OOTP26 login ID, please make sure that is correct. It is case sensitive. It's the way we get you your packs from OOTP developments. All right, so I guess the first question to ask is, which Barry Bonds team will win the most games? Oh, you know what? I need to know the years to do this, so we do have to go in and choose our Barrys first. Okay, so so you have to pick our skinny era bonds. We've picked our bigger era bonds. We've gone with 01 through 04. And then with skinny era bonds, I mean, we could go with the MVP seasons first. There's 90, 92, and 93. And then I think can we still count his first year with the Giants as skinny era? I think we can. I think we can. So this will be a bigger deal when we go, if we end up going to a tournament format, which I might test out tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be on again, and we'll be doing another 10-pack giveaway if you like the pack giveaways. But I thought like one side of the bracket would be the skinny era bonds, and the other side of the bracket would be the bigger era bonds. But in this one, they're all mixed together, so it doesn't really matter as much. So I think let's go. We'll definitely take the 3 early MVP seasons. I mean, look at all this black ink. There's so many seasons to pick from. Yeah, maybe we'll go 90. So 91. I think we still take. I think we go 90 to 93. He finished first or second in MVP all 3 of those seasons. He led the league or the majors in OPS each of those seasons. So let's just do that. That'll make it nice and easy. Now we can finish up the pack giveaway form too. 1991, 1992, 1993. Oh, that's interesting. They're all just a decade apart from each other. Oh, wait, no, I missed it. It's 90. Sorry, I was off by a year. 90, 91, 92, My brain was so keen on seeking symmetry that so they're all 9 years apart from each other, but still kind of cool. All right, so now we can go back to the pack giveaway form because now I know what the multiple choice options are. And we are playing in the 2024 run environment, which is the because for our historic sims, it's the most recent season with full statistics, full real statistics. Whereas the 2025 is just a bunch of projections. So your choices are 1991, 1992, 1993. Oh, I did it again. It's 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993. And then we go to 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. Oh, I should also probably mention every team will be running sabermetric, just in case you're wondering how much impact the speed might have. So all AI teams will be running sabermetric strategy. And will be asked for new lineups after getting their berry bonds. Okay, so which bond team will win the most regular season games? Grammar, plural S, plural games. And then let's guess which one will score the most runs. Because that's the other metric we usually use. And then let's ask we'll do the wins question, but we'll do the fewest wins. So we have games. So which one will win the fewest regular season games? And then which one will score the fewest runs? And then we'll ask the World Series. I believe what they're going to do is they'll take the top two teams in the league and have them play each other. In fact, let's just double check the settings, because when we collapse it into one league, I'm not sure what it did with the playoffs. Yeah, there'll be the winner and then the wild card, which will be the second best team, and they'll play a 7-game World Series. All right, and then we'll have some short answer questions. how many regular season home runs hit by the league leader in home runs? So it doesn't matter what year, just how many home runs. How many regular season walks by the league leader in walks? And I think the way it calculates walks is it does include intentional walks. How many regular season RBI? Oh, I should say this is a 162 game season. I'm sure that question will be asked. RBI. Now the reminder here, I'm going to put a little reminder in here. All of his teammates are complete average, so that will have an impact on RBI. Who wins the MVP? Barry Bonds. That's probably true. If Barry Bonds does not win the MVP in this league, it will be a huge upset of all huge upsets. And then let's really start breaking some ties here. What will be the batting average regular season? And then what will be the WAR? Or no, let's do OPS first. And then we'll do WAR. Okay, let's just do batter. Oh, well, yeah. I don't think a pitcher's going to win this. All right, so these are all just copied over questions. Actually, you know what an interesting question would be? How many wins by the regular season champion? Because is any team going to run away with this? I don't think. And this is not. This is in the mix of tiebreaker questions, so you won't get eliminated by getting this wrong. It's just one of the ones that will count up. How many regular season wins by the regular season champion? Just to clarify, we're not talking about the World Series champion. All right, so how many wins by the team that wins the regular season? How many regular season home runs by the league leader? Walks by the league leader? RBI by the league leader? Batting average of the league leader? OPS of the league leader? And WAR of the league leader? All right, this should be fun. And again, it is a 162 game season. So let me go ahead and open the form, and I'll put it in the chat. Again, you do not have to be present to win. You just have to be present to enter. If you have to take off, that's fine. Now, that's a rule that came about because when we play at night, I know most people can't stay up that late. But we kept the rule for afternoon streams. Link to form for this afternoon or this evening's 10-pack giveaway. Another giveaway tonight. And I pasted in the Barry Bonds stuff by mistake. Where is the link? Here it is. All right, good luck, everybody. Let me pin that to the chat. All right, now we can go to importing these Barry Bonds. So let's go back to this notepad file. These are the ones we're going to import. I just have to save this as a file name I'll remember. Okay. Now we go back into the base game. If you haven't done a mass import of players before, you can learn that today. So everything's set up, right? We have our 8-team league. I did save it as a quick start. Did I save it as a quick start since I generated the new schedule? I think I started to, and then I remembered I had to generate the new schedule, and now I have. Oh, okay, I did save it. Good. What was I doing in here then? Oh, I was looking to see what the playoff thing was. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're good. We're good. Now, the two things that don't save that we care about in a quick start are the mailbox settings and the manager preferences. We uncheck these exit autoplay things so that it minimizes the interruptions to the stream or to the sim. All right, so all player creation and importing. Well, let's save this now that we made those changes. You go to your manager, GM and manager actions. Oh, I have to assign myself to at least one team. I wish they would change this because being able to mess around the free agency pool is critical for creating and importing players. It's kind of annoying to have to be assigned to a team to do that. How long do you have, Kynan, to enter your form? You have a while. We still have to import the players, set up the teams. At probably like at least 10 minutes. Then I'll run the ad break. So you'll have, probably at least 10 minutes. So I have to assign myself a team. We'll just pick the first team at random. Or not at random, but arbitrarily. We'll just pick the first team. So now I can go to GM and manager actions, sign a free agent. Now, because I didn't put on the last comma and the 3 or 4 letter team abbreviation, these players can go into the free agency pool. When it doesn't see a team designation, the default is to go to the free agency pool. So this is where we either create players for our various games or import them. Tonight we'll be importing them. We'll import from the historical database. This is where you can enter players one at a time. One thing you'll notice is that there is no option to send them directly to a team, so they will automatically go into your free agency pool. that's usually fine if there's no one in your free agency pool. But if you're in a save that has like hundreds of free agents, it can get super annoying because then you have to go find your find your created players or imported players. So we're going to do the file version here. And I just saved it as Best Bonds version 1. Current ratings based on real stats, potential ratings based on peak season, fielding ratings. We use different choices for here depending on what we're trying to do. Because we're testing out specific versions of bonds, we're going to go imported season here. We're not importing any pitchers, so this doesn't really matter. We're not importing any small sample size versions, so this doesn't really matter. So we'll leave those. And this should import 8 players. So 8 players imported. These are the pitching ratings. That's why they're all 20s in red. Right, you see a couple of, actually several off-scale power. The scale is 20 to 80. There's some 90 powers and eyes here, which is extra nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and for each version of bonds, I'm going to add to the last name the year. So this is 93 bonds. And yet, when you make a name change, you have to hit enter. It won't save it. And now we can just arrow down to the next one. This is 92 bonds. Hulk of Matt says, I seem to recall another baseball sim game made bonds seemingly worse than he actually was because the creator didn't like him. That is amazing and petty. If you're making a baseball video game, I'm fine with that. But if it's a simulation game, I think people care about the fidelity of the simulation. So that seems like an extra interesting choice there. Like, to me, perfect team cards and base game profiles are completely different. Perfect team cards should be creative and interesting and fun, and maybe not necessarily totally aligned with the real life stats. But the base game profiles, I think, should be 100% as close as possible. So I guess it depends on what kind of sim game it was. Hulkamat used to play a Super League type thing where we draft 3 teams from throughout history and then make one mega roster and do a league of like 20 teams. And Bonds was always not great. Yeah, Hulkamat, that's actually kind of similar to how my friends and I used to play Stratomatic Baseball, where each year when we got the new cards, and these were physical cards, we would do a draft, and we each would pick 5 teams. And we would designate 3 teams to be our major league teams, 2 teams to be our minor league teams. And you could strip your minor league teams for spare parts to call up to your major league teams. But each major league team could only have 5 new players. So it's definitely not like a mega roster like you guys were doing. But it was like a fun way to like mix and match teams. And all off season we would be like discussing with each other like which teams would be we thought were the best minor league teams that had the best spare parts, and which teams we thought were the best major league teams that were like closest to just a few pieces away from being great. Oh, that's really cool. So great teams were worth 5 points and bad teams were worth 1 point, or as low as 1 point, and you had 10 points to work with. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that sounds really fun. Okay, this is the first of the big boy bonds, 2004 bonds. This is the 2003 bonds. Oh, I might not. Did I hit enter? I did hit enter. Okay. Yeah, I like that because it forces you to make trade-offs. Like you were saying, if you want to go some dead ball team to get Cy Young or somebody, is it worth that trade-off? I think that's what makes games like this fun, right? If you can just pick whoever you want, that's no fun. I mean, it's fun in its own way, but I think the trade-offs make it more interesting. I mean, that's I think the fun of create a roster, which is one of the games I created to play on stream. Is you only get 4 legend level players, 2 scrubs, and then 5 of every level in between. One of the biggest, I think, things even before you come on stream is figuring out how you want to distribute those picks to kind of maximize your chance of winning. All right, so I believe we should have a full roster now of various Bondses. So let's go to back to the free agency pool. Oh no, I didn't name this one. This is a 2001. I either didn't name it or I forgot to hit enter after updating the name. Okay. Now what we're going to do all right. We'll just start with the one at the top here. We're going to add them to each one to a different team. Oh, no, you know what? I should name the teams first. Okay, so this will be 1990 Bonds. 1991. You can have up to 4 letters in your team abbreviation. Or 4 characters, I should say, because we're using numbers today. (2001), 2002, 2003, and 2004. Okay. So now hold on, let me make one adjustment here before. I'll get you back to the game in a second. I just want to check on something real quick. Okay. All right. We're just going to go straight down the list and add them to teams. I kind of want to see what their these are free agents, right? I was kind of curious to see what their different contract demands are. I don't know why, but it's interesting that the 92 Bonds is asking for the most money. This I kind of wanted to peek before I switched to this in case it was a non-starter. I thought these might be blank, but they did have numbers assigned to them. Oh, he has a lot of time ahead of him? Yeah. Yeah. But so does the 90 and 91. I just think it's interesting that they have different All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go into editor and we're going to just assign each one to a team. So this should be 90, right? So we're going to assign them to 90 Bonds. This should be 91 Bonds. We're going to assign him to the 91 team. 92 Bonds goes to the 92 team. 93 Bonds goes to the 93 team. Now we should jump to 2001. Yep. 2002. 2003. And 2004. Okay. So all the bonds are assigned. So let's go ahead and save this. Let me also make sure, did I turn modifiers off? Nope, I didn't. Good thing I checked. So the modifier calculation hasn't happened yet, so we're okay. So we're going to lock in the 2024 modifier so it still feels like 2024. But we're going to bring in like a bunch of power and I. It's not going to nerf that power and I because normally what the AI would say is, "Oh, we've got too much power and I in the league now. So I need to nerf power and I so that we get back to these totals." But now I'm saying don't do that. Lock this in for the era, but don't make any new changes. So it's not going to nerf these new Barry Bondses when we bring them in. That was a big, that would have been a big mistake if I let that stay. So I'm glad we caught that. So we're going to save that. And let's do the ad roll now so that this is your 3-minute warning on the pack giveaway form. When we get back from this ad break, after I finish refilling my water and stuff, we will close the form, look at the guesses, and then we'll start the sim. Starting with looking at the preseason predictions. Oh, why did it not work? Did we just come out of an ad break? Oh, we're in ads right now. Okay. I'll put BRB up. I'll go run right now, and I'll be out for a little bit longer than the ad break. All right, I don't even. Well, I guess ads were already firing, but I am now back. And it looks like we have plenty of entries in already. So if anyone's about to hit submit on theirs, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to close it off. Okay, I'm not hearing any objections, so I'm going to go ahead and close the form, and we'll take a look at our guesses. I'm very interested to see how similar or different the guesses will be up to the numericals. Because there's definitely a few seasons that get most of the discussion when we do this on stream for other reasons. But this is the first time we've actually done this kind of competition. So, oh, we did get one last second format. I'm glad you got yours in before I closed it, whoever it was. Oh, that was you. Amazing. All right, let's see. Let's get to the pie graphs. Here we go. Oh, this is very cool. We've got quite a few different seasons represented here, which is, for me, that's super fun. So we've got, no one went with 90, or actually, we only have one early. We have only one Skinny Bonds vote for 91. Or not vote, guess. And then 01 has the most with 4. 02 with 3, and then 03 and 04 with 2 each. T. Davis is a blind guess, didn't look at any data. The reason this is interesting to me is it's usually 01 and 04 having most of the discussion when we do this on stream. And then there's always some discussion of like, should we consider an early version? But it's usually these two. So it's interesting that these others got attention to, which is great. So that was for wins. And then for scoring the most runs, again, we do have a few different choices, but it is still mostly 01. But 02 getting a bunch here for runs. And then single votes for 03, 04, and 92. Fewest regular season games, so maybe the least impactful of the bonds is 90. Almost half the votes here from 90. That's true. Almost anything can happen in the sim, which is why we've started using runs instead of wins, because more can happen with wins and losses, I think, than with runs. But it's also why we started playing 1,620 game seasons. But for this, we're doing 162. 91 with 3. And then, yeah, most of the early bonds this year are getting the 04 surprisingly with 1 vote. And the fewest runs, again, pretty similar. 90, 91, 92, 93 getting most of the votes here. So not a lot of love for this Skinny Bonds era. And then which team will win the World Series? Played again between teams 1 and 2. And these are all late era bonds splitting the votes here. And then we'll save the other numerical guesses for after the sim. But yeah, really interesting votes. I'm glad it's not a bunch of like 50-50 guesses. This will be a lot more interesting this way. So appreciate the chat with the thoughtful guesses. There is always the danger that the skinny bonziers have been underrated. That's true. But now that I've closed the form, we can advance to my favorite part, which is the preseason predictions. They're my favorite, even though they're rarely correct. It's just interesting for me to see the AI's perspective on this and where it thinks things are headed. So we'll go here, and then for the preseason predictions, you go to MLB reports and info, and then there's a preseason predictions here. It gets published on opening day, so if you're doing a save, this is when you can access it. Okay. So the O2 bond, surprisingly, at the bottom here, but it does have the early bonds is clumped together here at the bottom half of the league. O3 bonds is the AI's favorite. Usually when we discuss this, it's 01 and 04, and I think 93 tends to get some love too. But yeah, it's usually the 01 and 04 of the late era bonds. So I'm a little surprised to see 03 doing so well. It is true, but you can say that about most of these seasons, Hulkamat. I think of these 8 seasons, there are 7 MVPs and 1 second place MVP. Which is why it's especially hard with bonds, because with other players, usually you like narrow down to their MVP seasons or their OPS leading seasons, and it's just not that easy with bonds. Here are the predictions for the top hitters in the league. Of course, they are you have your 8 Bonzes and then two average players. Put 92 Terry Pendleton in, he will win it somehow. Amazing. You have the 01 Bonds predicted to hit 71 home runs here. The 91 predicted to come up with 93. The lowest will be the 90 Bonds with 37. But also leading in steals at 38. All right, this is interesting. I'm going to screenshot this. And unfortunately, I can't get all of this in here, so I'll have to scroll down to get that. It'll be another screenshot. All right, well, let's go ahead and start the sim. We'll go to the standings view, and we should be able to see in the leaderboards which Bonds is leading in home runs at least. Oh, and RBI. And we won't see walks, but we'll see batting average, home runs, and RBI of the categories that we asked the questions on. I asked about OPS, so that's in there, and WAR is in there as well. So the only thing we won't see is the walks. All right, it's still early, but 03 and 04 are jumping out to a 4-game lead. Now you have to look at the left here because the right is the wild card. So you want to look over here. Average infielder 7 is insane. He's hitting 351. I gotta screenshot this. That's Hulkamat right on the money. Yeah, all the look at average alpha to 1 is leading the league in RBI with 29. That's amazing. He's also on the same. Oh, wait, wait, wait. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to have the AI redo the lineups. So we may have to start this over. Let's look at the lineups real quick. Oh no, Bonds is hitting third there. He's hitting third there. Okay, it did redo the lineups on its own. Okay, good. So I don't think we have to restart. Okay. All right, we're okay. We're okay. Yeah, it already redid the lineups. Okay. Yep, he's hitting third on every team. All right, good. Whew. I mean, it would have only been 1 month, but it would have been a bummer to have to start over. Yeah, average infielder 7 right now. Second in league in batting, 351, and average outfielder 1. How are they doing in batting average? And they're hitting 333. Potential triple crown position. How's average infielder 7 doing? 6 home runs, 18 RBI. There'll be a bit of a stretch on the other categories. All right, let's do another month. Oh, yeah, it's still treating me like I'm managing the 90 team, so I don't want that. So we're going to act as none. Okay. Otherwise, like any achievements, it'll just show achievements for that one team, which I don't want to see. The 0-1 Bonds is hitting 411 with 36 bombs and 60 RBI. The 0-1 Bonds is actually in triple crown position. All right, let's keep going. Oh, there is no All-Star game. Because there's only one. That's the one drop. Oh, look at this. The 0-2 Bonds team is on an 11-game winning streak. Okay, after losing game 1 of a series against the 92 team in extra innings, it won the rest of that series, and then it swept the 0-4 team, which is quite an accomplishment, swept the 91 team, and then swept the 0-3 team. I mean, 2 of the teams it swept are bigger Bond seasons, so that's pretty impressive. And how is this 0-2 Bonds doing? Second in average, second in home runs, third in RBI. So this is what I mean, where the productivity difference and the games won difference are a little different here. Which is why I asked both questions, runs and wins, in the pack giveaway form. All right, let's go to the end of June. A 14-game winning streak now. Wait, is this a separate winning streak? Because this is the end of a different month now. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is the 0-2 team. Look at them taking off. And then who's cratering? The 93 team is falling way off here. But this 0-2 team. So yeah, I think that's a second winning streak. Yeah, that's another winning streak over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, that's 7. That's 14, yeah. Wow. And these have wins against the 0-4 and 0-3 teams in here. So it's not just the 90s teams it's beating up on. That's amazing. So yeah, they're on another win streak. Very nice magic number of 69. But yeah, 2 double-digit win streaks for this 0-2 team. So 02 now is leading in average, 01 is leading in home runs, and 04 is leading in RBI. So we're all over the place here. Look at the end of July. 7-3 in the last 10 for 02. They're still 5 games ahead of 92. Interesting. What is the 92 Bonds doing right now? He's hitting .319 with 38 bombs and 86 RBI. So 38 bombs puts him well outside the top 3. Is it just RNG with the rest of his team playing really well? Because this 92 Bonds is and 04 is in 5th place, and 01 way back. But again, I think this is why wins and losses are hard, because if you look at the 01 Bonds, he's hitting .375. He's got 63 bombs and 104 RBIs. He's first in average in home runs and second in RBI. But his team is second to last, even though everyone else's complementary players are all identical. So someone asked earlier, which is going to define the best? Is it the record of the World Series champion? I think we're going to have to go back to using runs scored, because the productivity of this Bonds is way higher, but his team is in second to last place. I mean, what happens if we look at runs scored? Where is that 01 team in runs scored? '01 has scored 517. And that's still near the bottom. It's in the bottom half. So then what if we just go by player OPS? In the same sim, in the same year. What if we do that? Let's see. Then the 01 is at the top with 1584. And I think if you look at the leaderboards, from a player perspective, I don't think you can argue that the 01 Bonds is the best. So maybe it's we get everyone in the same run environment and playing against each other, and then we see who has the best OPS, because even the run scored is being obscured, I guess, because there's still, I mean, individual OPS probably has the least RNG affected by other average players. Team run scored probably has less of that influence than teams wins and losses. So when you sim 90s in 2000s, Bombs only gets 50 to 60 dingers. So here's the thing, Hulkamat. In the course of those simulations, he's facing better and worse players, but most of the starting pitchers he's facing are probably better. I mean, yeah, you have 4th and 5th starters that might be scrubs. But here, yeah, all the starting pitchers are average, so he might be teeing off on a lot worse pitchers. At least in, I mean, they're average, right? So even in your simulations, over the course of a season, he should face great pitchers and terrible pitchers. Here, there are no terrible pitchers, but there are also no front end starters like you would have in an actual 90s or 2000 simulation. So theoretically, it should be equivalent, but it's not going to be, because part of the job of teams is to hide their weaker pitchers, right? So even though the league average is the league average, you know, you're probably not facing ultimately league average pitchers, because the simulation should try to hide those weaker pitchers, or save them for mop up time. So in theory it should be similar, but in practice I can see how it would be different. But yeah, he's already up to 63 home runs, and we're on August 1st right now. That is interesting that you brought that up, though, because, again, on paper, this is a league average league. But it doesn't account for the fact that league average is made up of great pitchers and terrible pitchers. And that probably has a different dynamic than just everyone being average. All right, let's go to the end of August. O2 Bonds, not only is it hanging on, but it's extended the lead over second place to 10 games. I mean, based on the guesses, I don't think I'm off in saying if it's not two 2000 era Bonds in the World Series, that'll be a bit of an upset. All right, let's sim. Let's see. When does the regular season end? September 26th. So let's go week by week and see if 01 can pull ahead of 92. '92 is still holding a 2-game lead over 03. Not only that, but 92 is closing the gap on 02, but 02 has clinched. And 02 is now 5 games ahead of 01. 90 and 93 have been eliminated. Do we have time for another week? And then when does the regular season end? The 26th. So this will take us to the 23rd. Yeah, 92 has clinched the other World Series spot. 2002 and 92. Even though if you look at the leaderboards, it's all 2000s. Batting average, top 3, 2000s. Home runs, 2000s. RBI, 2000s. OPS, 2000s. WAR, 2000s. All right, let's. The other thing is, again, it's usually 01 and 04 that get. Not 01. Yeah, 2001 and 2004, usually the focus of the conversation. Let me double check that. Let's pull up Baseball Reference real quick. I think it's 01 and 04 that usually gets all the conversation when we discuss this. 01 with the 1379 OPS and the 73 bombs. Yes, that's definitely one of them. And then 04 with the career high 1422 OPS and the 120 intentional walks. Yes, these are the 2 seasons. Now 02 does have the second highest WAR. And the second highest OPS. I mean, part of what this is telling me is maybe we're not giving enough attention to WAR when we have these conversations about which player to take for our all-time sims, because 01 and 02 are right here. 04 is back here. Because OPS is not normalized to the season, but WAR should be. Right, because it's like ERA plus, right? ERA plus gives you a sense of how are you relative to that season. OPS does not do that. OPS plus would, but WAR should, because WAR is season specific. So, and that's on me. I tend to overemphasize OPS when we have these conversations, and I guess I'm not paying enough attention to WAR, or not giving enough credit to WAR. I think is maybe the right way to think about it. Because yeah, these are the top 2 WAR seasons, 01 and 02. How does 92 compare to the other 90 seasons, I wonder? Uh, 92 is not the highest WAR. It's not even the highest OPS. Yeah, that's interesting that 92 is doing so well. Now, 92 is the best blend of stealing and OPS, but the stealing doesn't even seem to be a factor because when you look at the leaderboard, 92 is not even showing up for that. It's 90 and 91. So, yeah, this is really interesting to me that this team is doing so well. I mean, a lot of it could be RNG and the other average players on that team playing out of their minds. We'll have to see. All right, let's sim to the end of the regular season. All right, we have one more game to go. Okay, so if we went purely by one loss record, we would say it's the O2 Bonds. And that Bonds does have the second highest career WAR. And the second highest career OPS too. Right, but I think what gets the conversation going though is 01 is a record-setting home run season. Still very close to career high OPS. And it is a career high WAR. And I think the reason 04 gets attention is the crazy number of walks, which also contributes to career high OPS. But yeah, if we went by this, we would be picking a season that's not even that. I mean, it's not like we don't talk about the O2. It's decided wins is the most important. I actually think it's individual OPS in a normalized environment like this, where everyone's kind of playing against the same pitchers and defense. But let's finish out the sim. Don't let me get too ahead of myself here. Let's go to the postseason playoff coverage. So here we go. 02 Bonds versus 92 Bonds. Now we get into the small sample size within the small sample size. All right, here we go. Average starter 4 is on the mound for both teams. And no home runs, and the 02 Bonds team beats the 92 Bonds team. The performances of the day, none of them came from Bonds. Average infielder 3, average starter 4, and average starter 4.
Why do you keep following me around?
Still on baseball reference. Thank you for reminding me of that. Campbell's back and Hydro Homish. NC Pirate, thank you for the follows. Is NC Pirate an East Carolina Pirate reference? Campbell's back first time in the chat as well. Welcome in. Yeah, so this is an example, right? Neither Bonds hit a home run. Neither Bonds is in the top 3 performance of the day. And the 02 Bonds team ends up getting the win. Now let's see if either Bonds did anything here. 92 Bonds went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. 02 Bonds went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout, but did score a run. So, as great as these seasons are, they're still hitting 3-something, right? So, a no-hit game is not going to be uncommon. And so that's another reason why the wins and losses can be fickle. And, the 92 Bonds team got more hits, but got outscored. Probably didn't help that the 92 team made an error. Did they give up an unearned run? They did. They gave up an unearned run. Right? So there's some RNG. RNG playing out for you there. An unearned run caused by an error by an average fielder on an average team. but it has a huge impact in a 7-game series like this. So 0-2 pulls ahead, 1-0. All right, average starter 2 against average starter 5. And the 0-2 Bonds team wins 7-5. This time, 0-2 Bonds hit 2 home runs, went yard twice, and they still only won by 2. Wow. 92 Bonds went 1 for 4 with a run scored and a strikeout. 0-2 Bonds went 3 for 3 with 3 runs and 4 RBI. 2 bombs. Wow. So 9 total bases? Yeah, 9 total bases by 0-2 Bonds. All right, so the 0-2 team is up 2-0. There'll be a travel day as they travel from Bonds to Bonds, which I don't know how far that is. And 92 Bonds is the home team now. And they win 4-3 in extra, so the home team has won every game so far. Again, no home runs by Bonds, no Bonds in the player of the performances of the day, top 3 performances of the day. So 92 Bonds went 1 for 4 with a walk. 0-2 Bonds went 0 for 3 with a walk. So this is a largely Bonds-free performance that was won by the 92 Bonds team. And this is why the standings can be, a little less reliable because you have so much other stuff in play. Let's go average infielders, yes. Average infielder 4 crushing it here. Let's actually look at the, we should be able to look at the postseason, the series performances here. So yeah, average infielder 5 is hitting .462 for the 0-2 Bonds team in the postseason. Or in this series, I guess. Average outfielder 5 hitting .400. Yeah, the 92 Bonds is hitting .182 this series. So getting hit with the RNG bug here. By bug, I meant an RNG illness, not that there's a problem with the game or anything. All right, let's go to game 4. Let's see if the 92 Bonds can turn things around. The OTP journalists are going to love writing the narrative about 92 bombs. I know, but he carried them all regular season. The narrative could be that he's just worn out from having them on his back all year. He carried them all the way to this point, and then he just gave out. Well, it is still a 2-1 series. I'm burying the 92 team a little too early here, I think. Look at that. They tied the series at 2 games apiece. Despite a home run by the 0-2 Bonds. 0-2 Bonds did get a performance of the day, number 3. 92 Bonds turning it around a little bit, responding to our criticism, goes 2 for 5 with a run scored. Hold on, let me respond to a text here from my wife about the kiddo schedule. Okay. So, yeah, tie series, 2 games apiece. This has turned out a lot more interesting than I thought it would. All right, let's go back to the scores view. The home team, again, has won every game so far. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, it's super small sample size, so this is just total coincidence, but both starters coming into this game have 5.06 postseason ERAs. Hulk might say, "Oh, that was all average catcher." Okay, let's go back and see. Oh yeah, average catcher 2 went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. I mean, average outfielder 5 from the 9 hole. I think this is the guy who's been. Is this the guy who's been on fire for them? Yeah. Oh no, it's average infielder 5. Average infielder 5. So what did average infielder 5 do this game? Average infielder 5 went 2 for 4. He's still on fire. But yeah, this game in particular, average catcher 2 went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. Huge games from the supporting staff. And that's why, 0-2 Bonds went 2 for 3 with a home run and a walk, but his supporting cast didn't do it as much as the 92 supporting cast did. So again, the RNG, ultra critical in these small sample sizes. All right, let's quick play game 5. Identical starter ERAs, postseason starter ERAs coming into it. 92 Bonds, the home team wins again. 92 Bonds on the verge of a championship. Holy cow. Again, no Bonds is in the top 3 performances of the day. 92 Bonds again, staving off the criticism with a 2-for-4 performance, raises his postseason average to 300. Those writers are going to have to reshape their narratives as this continues. He got off to a very cold start on the road this postseason, but has caught fire. Average infielder 7 is insane. He went 3 for 4. T. Davis has never rooted for Bonds, but come on, 0-2 Bonds. All right, well, we have a travel day. The writers are going insane on this travel day, trying to come up with material to fill the gap before the next game. We'll sim to game 6. Again, the home team has won every game, so let's see if that continues. Or can the 92 Bonds team close out the 0-2 Bonds team on the road? Should we watch highlights? There's no one coming. I don't think Nolan's on until 6:30, so we can watch highlights of this game. I think we should watch highlights. I have to make sure to turn off achievements too, though. Let's do that. We'll turn off achievements. Smiley Face Jane taught us this move here, because the achievements can pop up and ruin it for you. They can act as spoilers. Hide the scores. And let's watch this. 92 Bonds team on the road, looking to close out the home team 0-2 Bonds. Oh, I don't have it set up for replays because there's no human team. Shoot. Okay, if it gets tied, I'm going to change the settings so we can watch replays. 0-2 Bonds wins. The home team has won every game. And they walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. When did this home run happen? In the 8th inning. So that was the one to tie it. Tied it by average catcher 1. Also, because we don't have it set up for human, non-human teams, we don't have a game log either. Yeah, there's no game log here. Okay, so to make sure we can watch highlights, let's go to game settings, and here you can see. Okay, we'll make ourselves. Well, actually, no, we're only down to 1 game left, so I think we should do. Game. There's only 1 team left. All game recaps, WPA, game logs, replays. Here we go. Replays is the important one. Okay, now we should have replays for the last game. As we come down to game 7. The two best words in sports. Game 7. The home team has won every game, so you would think advantage O2 Bonds team. But this scrappy 92 Bonds team has no give up in them. They're all fight. I got to see what the series stats look like here. Average infielder 5 still on fire, hitting 391. The 92 Bonds has cooled off a bit again. He was hitting 300. He's back down to 261. Has not gone yard yet. Versus the O2 Bonds, who has caught fire and is probably the reason why they've extended it to a game 7, hitting 429 with 3 home runs. All right, let's go to game 7. Now we should be able to see highlights for this. Also in favor of the O2 team, their starter has a 0 pussy. Is it just that he hasn't started yet? Let me see. Has he not started yet? No, he has started. He went 5 2/3 scoreless. So he has pitched 5 2/3 clean innings. All right, here we go. No, I changed it. Dude, I changed it. Ah. Maybe you can't change it in the middle of a season. That might be it. A replay and highlights come from the same. Oh, did I? Oh, I didn't enable highlights? Oh, fine WV. Good call. I thought highlights and replay came from the same file, but you're right. You're right. I did not enable highlights. All right. Fine WV saving the day. That means we have to watch every at-bat, though. All right, full count for the leadoff hitter for the 92 Bonds team. Average infielder 2. That's right. Nolan's not going on. My wife just texted me that she won't be home with the kids for a while. So we're good. Strikeout. Average infielder 5. He's been a hero. Ground ball to short. Fielded cleanly over to first in time. And that brings up the 92 Bonds. He was cold, then he was hot, and he's cooling off again. 3-1 count. Draws the walk. The walk normally could be helpful, but when you're surrounded by average hitters, not as useful. Pickoff throw, not in time. Pickoff throw, not in time. Ground ball to second base, fielded cleanly, and over to first for the out. All right, bottom of the first for the O2 Bonds team. Average infielder 2. Fly ball to left field, and that's going to hang up for the out. Average infielder 4, the first baseman, batting second. Swings and misses, but the ball gets away from the catcher. Throw to first is in time. And that brings up the O2 Bonds. Goes down looking. Ooh. All right. We got a lot of non-Bondses here this half inning. Ground ball to short. Over to first in time. Fly ball to center. Center fielder comes in. Grabs it for the out. And average infielder 7, the shortstop, goes down swinging. The O2 team, again, it'll be a while before Bonds comes up on this team. Goes down looking. Ground ball to first. Gets past the first baseman for a base hit. Average infielder 3, getting things started here with 1 out. The DH. Average infielder 5. Throw over to first, not in time. Fly ball to center. And that's going to hold up for the out. And average infielder 7, the third baseman, with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Throw over to first, not in time. They seem to be very worried about average infielder 3 running, but he's not going anywhere. This one's popped up. Second baseman squeezes it, and we head to the top of the third. If we can get 2 base runners, we can get to the 92 Bonds. Ground ball to second. That one really died on the infield grass. Outfielder 5 batting last in the lineup. Hits it to first. A little soft liner to the first baseman. And that brings up the leadoff hitter, average infielder 2. And that's a ground out. But that guarantees that 92 Bonds will come to bat in the next inning. By the bottom of the third is the 0-2 Bonds team. Outfielder 3 grounds it to third, and that's an out. Outfielder 5 goes down swinging. And infielder 2 gets a base hit. Now, if infielder 4 can get on base, that'll bring up 0-2 Bonds with 2 runners on. So this is a big at-bat here. Important to get this out. And it's a blooper to center, but it's going to hang up long enough to be caught. All right. Top of the fourth, we will have the 92 Bonds coming to bat. He's on deck. Line drive into left. Be a base runner on for the 92 Bonds. Fly ball to left. And caught for the out. Oh, you know what? Another thing that's going to affect the Bonds stats is there are no left-handed pitchers in this league. Everyone is right-handed. All the batters and pitchers are right-handed. Bonds are the only left-handed batters in the whole league. I forgot to mention that in the pack giveaway form. All right, top of the fourth, the 92 Bonds team. 92 Bonds made the last out, so he will not be up for a while. Ground ball to short, slow roller, will not be able to turn 2. Oh, won't even be able to get 1 out. As it's first and second with 1 out. An 2-0 count for average infielder 4, the DH. Lines into left center field in the gap. Without any help from Bonds 92, the Bonds 92 team is going to score multiple runs here. With an awkward looking slide into third, he is safe. So 2 runs are in as average infielder 6 comes about with a runner on third and 1 out. Infield in, it gets past the shortstop, drives in another run. The 92 Bonds team is now up 3-0. All this with 1 out. Slow roller to first, over to second for the out. No throw back for the double play, though. So the fielder's choice brings up outfielder 1. And he gets hit by the pitch. Outfielder 5. Ground ball to first. Picked cleanly for the out. All right, the 0-2 Bonds team in a big hole. And 0-2 Bonds is leading off. The best he can do is 1 run here. This is the problem with just having 1 Barry Bonds on the team. Fly ball to center. And that's an out. The cleanup hitter, average catcher 1, goes down swinging. And infielder 3. You get hit by the pitch? He did. Ground ball to short. Oh, it dies on the grass. Throw to first, though, is in time. Very nice play by the shortstop. All right, the 92 team looking to add to their add some insurance runs. Fly ball to left. Easy out for the left fielder, Barry Bonds. Infielder 5. Oh, we're going to have some rain falling. Brief rain delay. Fly ball to center. That'll be an easy out. And the 92 Bonds team with Bonds 92 up at bat with 2 outs and a full count. Goes down swinging. So this 92 team has created all these runs without any help from the 92 Bonds. Ground ball up the middle, gets through. Average infielder 7 with a leadoff single. Oh, and he just ran himself out of an inning there. Caught stealing. We are on sabermetrics. I'm a little surprised they sent him. And a fly out to center field. And that brings up average outfielder 5. Blooped over the first baseman's head into the corner. That might be extra bases. It is. Headed to second with a 2-out double. That brings average infielder 2 with a full count. Pops it up right side of the infield. First baseman squeezes it for the out. All right, the 92 team. Full count to the catcher. Goes down looking. The DH grounds it up the middle past the shortstop for a base hit. A 1-out single. Brings up the third baseman. Pops it up. And the first baseman squeezes that for 2 outs. And that brings up the shortstop. Pit throw to first, not in time. Another throw to first, not in time. Another throw to first. And he goes down swinging. All right, bottom of the second. 0-2 Bonds team, still 3 runs down. Infielder 4 trying to set the table for Bonds. Ground ball to first, though. Picked cleanly, unassisted for the out. 0-2 Bonds with a full count. Fly ball to center. It's over the center fielder's head. And it's a 1-out double for 0-2 Bonds. That brings up the catcher. Ground ball to second. Will be the second out, but advances Bonds over to third for average infielder 3. Average infielder grounds it to second, but that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. A walk, leadoff walk for the 92 Bonds team. Brings up the center fielder. Throw to first, not in time. Ground ball to short. Oh, gets past the shortstop. The runner had... Oh, and it gets past the center fielder. Runners advance on the error. Second and third with no outs. 1-2 count for infielder 2. Infield is in. They get a big strikeout. Another strikeout. Huge with runners on second and third. And that brings up Barry Bonds, the 92 Bonds. How did they not walk him? Well, they did walk him, just not intentionally. All right. Average catcher 2 with the bases loaded. Oh, it's into the gap. Oh, my goodness. The 92 Bonds team is going to clear the bases. Average catcher. Ground ball to the pitcher. Over to first. In time. Wow, they just doubled their lead on that double by the catcher. Goes down swing. Leadoff strikeout. Man, average starter 5 is dealing. 2 strikeouts in the 7th. Still going strong. Ground ball to first. Over to the pitcher. Oh, the pitcher bobbles it. I spoke too soon. All right, average outfielder 5. The 9-hole hitter. Grounds it to third, but it dies on the grass. Nice play by the third baseman to charge in and make that play. All right. Top of the 8th, the 92 team, 6 runs ahead. Looking to pad their lead. They did a leadoff walk. Ground ball past the second baseman, the 92 team. No let up. Ground ball to second. Over to the shortstop for the out, but they cannot turn two. So it's 1 out, first and third. 2-2 count for average outfielder 5. Gets some looking. Brings up infielder 2, the leadoff hitter. Fly ball to left. And that's an out. Ends the inning. Bottom of the 8th. 6 runs down. Average infielder 2 comes to bat. Leadoff hitter playing shortstop goes down swinging. They need base runners ahead of the 0-2 bonds. They're not getting it. Ground ball to first. Fielded cleanly, unassisted. And that brings up the 0-2 bonds with no one on. Full count. Draws the walk, but someone's got to drive him in. Average catcher 1. Throw into first, not in time. Line drive into the gap. Both catchers playing big tonight. All right, that does cut the lead by 1. And there's a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. And that strikeout ends the inning and the rally. Top of the 9th. Looking to increase the lead from 5. Any cushion heading into the bottom of the 9th would be helpful. And that's a line drive right to the center fielder. The 92 bonds. 2-2 count. Ground ball to second. Over to first for the out. And catcher 2. He's had one of the big hits of the game. And he hits a little tiny hit in front of the plate. And he's out at first. All right, last licks for the 0-2 Bonds team. 2-2 count for infielder 5. Will 0-2 Bonds get one more chance at this? Not at this rate. Strikeout to lead off the inning. Infielder 7 playing third base. Goes down looking. Reliever 4 dealing for the 92 team. Last chance. Outfielder 3 playing center field with a full count. And it's popped up to center field. And the 92 Bonds team, in what has to be a huge upset, wins the World Series. The only road game won in the entire World Series. Yeah, the 92 Bonds team. Wow. Average catcher 2, 2 for 5, a double, 3 RBI. Let's see who the MVP was. Average infielder 4, hit 333. 6 RBI, 1 home run. Compare that to the 0-2 Bonds, who hit 417 with 3 home runs, 7 RBI. But I guess just didn't get the RNG from the supporting cast. And again, the supporting casts are all identical player profiles, so this is all RNG. All right, let's go back to, let's see the awarding of the trophy. There you go. The gold baseball cup. 2 teams, 1 cup. And let's go to the postseason awards. We'll do that from the mailbox. Let's save this. Wow, the 92. I mean, this is what happens, right? Small sample size in the postseason. So are we at the gold? Yeah, we are. All right, let's see who won the gold gloves. Barry Bonds did win it in left field. The 92 Bonds. There we go. Could defense have made that much of a difference? 11.2 zone rating. How does that compare to the rest of the league? I mean, 92 did lead in zone rating. Second was 90. Second in efficiency. First in range. I mean, he was the best defensive outfielder this season, but by not by a huge margin. Yeah, that darn 92 team. The stuff of legends. All right, reliever of the year comes from the 03 team. Platinum Stick Awards. Quite a battle for left. Oh, look at this. Of all the left fielders, the 92 won the Platinum Stick Award. Oh, no, I'm still looking at Gold Glove. I was wondering because that made no sense. All right, Platinum Stick Awards. The 03 Bonds wins the Platinum Stick Award. He went 365, 79 home runs, 13 steals, 148 runs, 133 RBI, 13.64. Rookie of the Year. There are no rookies, that's right, because everyone's too old. Cy Young Award. Comes from the 03 Bonds team. So the top two vote getters were from the 03 Bonds team, as was the sixth place batter. Now, this is usually a sign that that team has the best offense because these pitchers didn't have to face themselves. So there's a little hint that maybe the 03 team was offensively a very good team. And let's go to the MVP award. The 02 Bonds was the MVP. 75 home runs, 376 average. Now, I think the most telling thing is going to be after playing a season against essentially the same teams, which of these batters has the best OPS? And it's the 01 Bonds. Best slugging, also 01 Bonds. Best on base. I mean, it makes sense if the OPS is going to be the best, but the best WAR, though, was the 03 Bonds, who also won the MVP. So again, this doesn't really help with the idea of if we're going to use this to break the tie of which Bonds do we choose for the all-time roster. Not really helping. It's interesting and fun, but it's not really bringing much clarity to the question. It was fun though. All right, let's give away some packs. Let's see how the pack giveaway forms went. I will create a spreadsheet for it. I'll unhide the Twitch usernames. I'm doing this off screen, I realize. I'm going to get it ready to show before I show it. Okay. Man, that was really interesting. The 92 team. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. All right. Let's do some sorting here. Okay. Which Bonds team will win the most regular season games? And that was the 0-2 team, won 97 games. 0-2, 0-2. Kynan, T. Davis, Flying WV. Which team will score the most regular season runs? Well, we got to check that out. Uh, 836 for the 0-2 team. Only team over 800 runs, the 0-2 team. So by both of those two metrics, the 0-2 team, the 0-2 Bonds, would be your guy. All right, which team will win the fewest regular season games? And that was the 93 team with 67 wins. So none of our three remaining contestants got that right. And then which team will score the fewest runs? Fewest runs was 643 by far. The only team under 700 runs was the 1990 team. And just T. Davis gets the 1990 team there. So T. Davis will get first place. Okay, which team will win the World Series? It was the 92 team, which no one guessed. So we've got Kynan and Flying WV still in the running for second place. So now, between Kynan and Flying WV, whoever gets the most bold numbers, which means they were closest for those questions, will win second place. All right, so we're here now. How many regular season wins by the champion? And that was 97 wins. So between the two of them, Flying WV is closest with 116. It's a good thing it did not go to this for T. Davis because he gets 14 wins. I don't know if he meant 114, but it's a good thing he won already. I'm also going to keep track separately of who outside of our top two was closest. And it was a different Jason who guessed exactly right 97 wins. Nice guess, a different Jason. All right, home runs hit by the league leader in home runs. I actually don't know who did that, so let's check that out. 79 home runs by the 0-1 Bonds. 79. So of the two, neither one was close, but Kynan was one closer with 55. T. Davis was almost right on the money. T. Davis makes up for his 14-game answer with 77, almost guessing exactly right. Yeah, T. Davis, is a good thing you already won because this. What happened to your? Oh, you thought it was the difference between. Okay. I see. All right. All right. Next question is how many walks by the league leader in walks, which of course should be a Barry Bonds. Walks 149 by the 0-1 Bonds. 149. There's a 122. Is that the closest? Yeah, 122 is the closest. Mewtwo is the closest. But of the two is still in the running, it is Kynan. A little bit closer. Kynan was 41 under, and Flying W was 69 higher. Uh, 97 is the absolute closest. 116 is the closest of our final two competitors. Okay, yeah, okay, Tampa's got it now. All right. How many RBI with the league leader in RBI? Now this one might not be crazy because it does depend on all these average players around him.
Keep following me around?
It is 146, still pretty healthy RBI total. Gerald Dog, thank you for the follow. Also, I missed it, but Jacket 1515, thank you for the follow as well. All right, so 146 RBI. Oh, Tampa likes that follow alert. Oh, T Davis with a 145 guess. Nailed that one. Of our two competitors, though, it is Kynan to guess highest. All right, Flying W is gonna have to come charging back here in the last few. Regular season batting average of the berries, 376. 376. Oh, Flying W very close. 8 batting average points away. Gets that one. All right, highest OPS, 1490. 1490. Another very good guess, 1376 by Flying WV. And we come to, it's tied 3-3. I think Flying WV's seen the writing on the wall. WAR. 14.1 WAR by the 03 bonds. 14.1. And Kynan, 12.3. Slightly higher guess. Does take second place. So yeah, that feels better to me as a tiebreaker. We go by the most right. And you each had a one or two that were pretty far off, but you were still the closest. But then you each had some that you were like really close, like Find Every with a batting average almost dead on. But congratulations to Kynan for second place, T Davis for first place. I think I'll probably let Nicolino know after tonight's stream the pack giveaway results for this week. So you might not get them until Monday, but you will get your packs. Congratulations, everybody. Or congratulations, T Davis and Kynan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you had fun. I still don't know who I'm going to take, though, because if we go by the standings, it's the O2 bonds. If we go by the stats, it kind of feels like the 01 bonds. 01 bonds dominated most of the stats. And if we go by team runs scored, again, it's the 02. Yeah, I don't know. I think, though, since we're taking a player, but if we go by WAR, it's the 03. The interesting thing is 04 has come out of the conversation at this point. We should choose the one that Hulkamet chose. So here I thought, by using this league and doing a simulation, we could come up with a more objective way of choosing which bonds we were going to pick for our different sims, but it's not working out that way. So tonight, when I stream again at 10 p.m., I am going to try a different approach. And we'll see if that gets us any closer to doing this. But there's just so much RNG involved. It's hard to say. What I'm thinking about doing is doing this again, but each team gets like four versions of their Barry Bonds. The highest score was just over 14, yeah. But I think part of that is I'm surprised they were so high though, because it must be calculating wins against replacement outfielder. Because if it's wins against replacement left fielder, then your replacements are all Barry Bonds. But I think the fact that it's only 8 teams and each team has their Barry Bonds probably kept the WAR a little bit lower. Um, but also, I think the fact that all the pitchers are right-handed and probably inflated some of the offensive stats. But yeah, I think what I might do tonight is increase the number of bonds on each team. So like the 92 team would have 3 or 4 92 Barry Bonds, and see if that helps clarify the issue at all. But yeah, this was fun. I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to take a quick peek in. Let's save this game. I'm going to take a quick peek into that tournament to see how we did. And then we'll see if we can raid into Nolan or whoever else might be streaming OOTP tonight. Because Nolan's supposed to go on at 6:30, I think. Okay, so bronze cap, we did finish in 3rd and 4th place. So we got knocked out in that semifinal. Which is a bummer because I think we were tied 1-1 when I started the stream. It is a best of 5 tournament though, so yeah, we lost the next 2. Did they at least go on to win the tournament, the team that we lost to? Nope. They lost. Oh no, it's a best. Oh, it's the final best of 5? The final is best of 7. So it's best of 5 and the final is best of 7. Yeah, so the team that beat us got smoked, so. Was that a tournament stars tournament? No, standard pack. So we get 5 standard packs. Not a huge payoff. And TWIP just happened. I don't know. This might help with PT Live. Let's just open these. Let me check the schedule. I do believe Nolan's coming on at 6:30. Oh, DA what? Oh no, that's Thursday. Yeah, this has Nolan starting at 6, but I thought I heard him say the other night that he is going to go on at 6:30. Let's see. Is there an update in the affiliates Discord? Nope. Oh yeah. No, it doesn't say. Okay. Well, let's rip these packs and then we'll see if he's on. Looking for some PT Live help. I did finish 2nd in PT Live the other night, even though I have no live perfect cards. And I had only 3 live diamond cards. I finished 2nd in PT Live, which I thought was pretty awesome. I had my first all dupe pack last night. It was nice while it lasted. With the start of the cycle, you have so few of the cards. You get lots of non-dupe packs. Here's our first gold pack. Evan Phillips, closer from the Dodgers. Is he still closing for the Dodgers? If so, that would be a nice card. Doesn't take up a diamond or perfect spot, but still might give us some bullpen productivity. Although I try to usually pick silvers for my bullpen since they're free. And a historic gold. It is a dupe. I will sell this after he's in submissions, I think. Alright. Alright, let's see who's streaming. Who's streaming OOTP? If there is no one streaming OOTP that we know, we can always stream raid into Cavacom, who is a great OOTP streamer, streams Sundays. Actually, a great Sunday stream. It's my usual Sunday hangout. He streams his teams in the playoffs across PT26, PT25, and for at least a few more weeks, PT24 is still active. The PT24 servers will be shut down pretty soon, though. But if you're not already following Cavacom, give him a follow. Great streamer. Kind of must watch on Sunday mornings, I feel like. And currently streaming MLB The Show. He's doing a Toronto Blue Jays franchise season where he's doing all the levels of the Blue Jays. Which I thought was an interesting approach. He's the best streamer named Kava? Maybe. I mean, I don't know all the streamers named Kava, so... Yeah, he is awesome. He's fantastic. His chat, also, super great. Frankly, the chat might be better than Cavacom. But the chat's there because of Cavacom, so, you gotta give Cavacom credit for that. Alright, I'm going to give Nolan a few more minutes here, otherwise we're going to raid into somebody. We've got 2 OOTP streamers. None of them are affiliates, but they are streaming OOTP. RLB streaming does not seem to have their mic on. So I don't know if I want to raid into that. That doesn't seem very entertaining. But Hollywood Tie 24, non-affiliate, but is streaming OOTP 24. Yeah, Nolan is not on. It doesn't look like he's streaming tonight. On his channel, it says streaming in 2 days. So we're gonna rate in this guy, Hollywood Tie 24. He's got 1 viewer, so I'm sure he'll appreciate the rate of 175. Yeah, it looks like Nolan's not streaming tonight. All right, thanks for being here. Again, we are playing again tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific time, so come on back if you liked what you saw. We'll be doing a variation on today's experiment, so come join us.